dedicating your career to helping other people become the best versions of themselves was just something that blew me away. It gave me an opportunity to travel and see other communities and see how impact work was being done. And that was just something that I was fascinated with.
If I could go back in my lifetime and say, what's a big mistake? I wish I figured this out earlier.
Ask questions, ask why.
It takes a special leader to help you grow in a certain role.
Doesn't matter how I speak, doesn't matter how I look.
And it holds true as you think big and don't let anybody stop you.
Now that's a success story.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining this episode of Success Stories. I'm Steve Cross, the host. Today, we have Mr. Marvin Logan, the Director of Education and Employment at Rocket Community Fund. Thanks for being on, Marvin.
Steve, thank you for having me. Always a good time when we get a chance to chat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been a while, but I'm looking forward to reconnecting, hearing a little bit more about your story too, because I think the last time we talked, it was more surface level kind of professionally, but how we structure the podcast, I'd just like to hear your success story and kind of how you got, because I see you as a huge success, kind of where you're at now and the last few years I've known you, but I'd like to take it, if you could, take us back to where you feel like that journey began, whether that was childhood or, growing up, because a lot of our work ethic was, came to us then, or do you kind of start your journey, later on in life? If you could just take us back to that starting point and kind of tell us how you got to where you're at now.
Absolutely. So my journey starts at the beginning. Being a kid from the Valley, growing up in Warren, Ohio, my father was a GM Delphi employee. And that early kind of zeal for success and different things just started with watching my dad get up and go to work every day. He found a way to balance doing that, being a full-time single dad with my sister and I, showing up to all of our extracurricular activities and finding ways to clone himself and be everywhere all at once. And he just did it with love. And he instilled in us at a young age a value in love and a value in education. And so he would give us lots of books, and I couldn't go outside until I read something or wrote something, and that just instilled a bit of curiosity in me at a young age. And even though I didn't always make the best decisions, I'm sure I probably stressed him out and turned a few of his hairs gray. But it was really those seeds that he sowed in me early that kind of inspired me today. Fast forward a few years, at the age of 13 is when I really got exposed to social impact work. We'd always had to volunteer and do different things, but at that time, I really got to start seeing the inner workings of organizations. I always credit three men for really exposing me to a career of service. Derek Toles with Inspiring Minds, Gavin McGuire and Sean Wilson, who were both at the time with Usher New Look. Getting to see what dedicating your career to helping other people become the best versions of themselves was just something that blew me away. It gave me an opportunity to travel and see other communities and see how impact work was being done. And that was just something that I was fascinated with. And so that kicked off a 20 plus year love affair with making a difference in the community. And that's ultimately what helped me get to where I am today.
Excellent, excellent. So after those grade school years, you knew right off the bat? I think I remember talking to you before. You knew this is the path I want to go on. Where that destination led, but you kind of knew what your wheelhouse was, right?
I kind of the way I like to say it, I knew the house that I wanted to be in. I wasn't quite sure what room was going to fit me. Kind of like a Goldilocks. I'm not sure which one of these beds or which bowl of porridge is going to be the right one for me. But I knew where I wanted to end up. I only changed my major once in undergrad, and that was simply because, oh, this is an even better pathway to get to doing the things that I actually want to do. And so I always really had that direction. Now, where things started to take shape is I started going, okay, this is programming work. This is strategy work. This is what it looks like at the administrative level. This is what advocacy organization looks like. This is what philanthropy looks like. And I ultimately decided that philanthropy was a space that I thought was going to make the most sense for me, where I would be able to use the different skills that I was blessed with and the ones that I had to develop so that I could create longitudinal and sustainable impact in communities. And so, yeah, definitely had a good idea where I wanted to end up, but really started to take shape during undergrad, graduate school, and then with my career, I some people consider it challenging. I thought it was lucky. I got to start out on the bottom floor. I was someone's assistant. And I went from, scheduling their meetings to taking notes in their meetings to taking over some of their meetings to taking over initiatives that when it got too much to be on their plate, it's like, hey, well, I think you know enough, and I think you've exhibited some expertise here. And again, Gavin McGuire was the person that gave me the opportunity to do that. And I always, believe in giving flowers to the shoulders that you stand upon. And so, getting to learn impact work through drinking through a fire hose and planning this
Yeah, right.
program over here and grabbing this bus of kids and dropping off these things over here. It was a great way to learn. And even though I was really broke at the time,
Yeah.
bouncing around from place to place, but I always tell people that was one of the happiest times of my life. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
doing work that I really love with people that I loved doing it with people that I love doing it for. And so it was just a great opportunity to get a feel for the breadth and depth of the social impact world.
Yeah. So Gavin, giving you that exposure to the world, right, and to your career, where it kind of sounds like he kind of mentored you along, basically becoming a professional. Could you say? And how? Yeah. Do you think he had a straight path on, I need to develop Marvin here, and did you guys talk about that, or was it like a defined path of your strengths and weaknesses, or did you guys communicate that, or do you think maybe he you just internally had that for you and had a path, or how did that kind of go, that relationship?
It was a very Doctor Strange, the Ancient One, teach me kind of, literally. I packed up all of my things into a car in Atlanta. I moved to Atlanta without a place to live, without a job. And they had one opening and one opportunity. And I just said that it was something I wanted to do. And Gavin had developed a relationship with me over the years because I was essentially one of his camp kids. And so, he got to watch me grow up from being a young, snotty nosed, annoying kid at summer camp, just trying to look cute for the girls, to getting to a point where it's like, man, this is really cool. I'm watching this change people's lives. And I think for him, uh, he saw the love. He got to know my father. They
Mm.
had a great relationship. One of the special exchanges that they always had, when my dad helped me move to Detroit, because I wound up working for Gavin again. He was with the Boys and Girls Clubs of Southeastern Michigan, and my dad said, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" And I just got to overhear some of that conversation, and he was just really grateful. He was grateful that he felt that he had an extension of another person who was like family, who was able to take me under his wing and show me so much. And I think Gavin gave me the space to ask questions with safety, because a lot of times, especially especially with men, right? When we go into a grocery store, we don't like to tell people that we don't know where stuff is.
What do you mean?
We don't want to look like we don't know. We don't want to look lost. How long have
Yeah.
many of us driven on a family vacation and wife reaches over, do you know where you are? Yeah, 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 I know where I am. I don't know where I am. I have no clue, right?
Yeah.
And Gavin gave me that safe space to be like, well, what is this? Well, why do we do it this way? Well, what about this? Have we considered that? And gave me a chance to take the classroom learning and the on the job learning and really put them together. And he spent a lot of intentional time, especially after I made mistakes. And a lot of times, in your professional life, you don't get to have a lot of grace when you make mistakes. And what he would do, much like what my dad would do, much like what my coaches would do, get on me a little bit, and then it's like, okay, come here. Now let me explain to you why this is not the way to do this and why you need to look at it from this angle. And it was just something that really helped hone me into what I would consider a successful nonprofit and social impact profession.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. Those relationship. It always almost always comes down to mindset and relationships. But finding, and you got to be so grateful, right, to have Gavin that took those times, and you could have had a boss that when you made the mistakes, just grinded down on you. We've all had those bosses, those coaches, but the angle of, hey, this is a teaching moment. He probably was waiting for, hey, Marvin's going to make a mistake. Let's wait for it. It's going to happen. Now let's roll into that teaching moment, right? It,
The fun part is when he would be able to perceive what mistake I was going to make.
before you even knew it.
Why is I would make it, and you know, like, "Well, see, this is what I thought that you were gonna do." I think the other really cool thing that it instilled in me is having that same type of grace and love with team members that I've had the opportunity to develop over the years, and I like to think I've got a pretty good coaching tree of folks that have worked up under me and really worked with me. I don't like the that top down approach, but I've been blessed to have the chance to develop some of the best talent in the industry. Some people who are really out doing some amazing things all across the country and all across the world. And it started with having the same thing myself.
Yeah, yeah, it can't end with you, right? You just have to keep paying it forward, keep moving it forward because I mean, I don't have to talk to you about social impact, but that's how you make movements happen, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, take me through the where you're at now, kind of what your day to day look like, and what's the organization? What do you focus on now?
So now I'm with the Rocky Community Fund, which is an organization that is dedicated to removing barriers to healthy, happy, and stable housing. And finding ways to navigate complex systems to support community members to be able to have access to that safe, vibrant, stable community. My work specifically focuses on in three areas: workforce development, post-secondary success, and digital equity here in the city of Detroit. And so, finding ways to empower Detroiters through getting connected to broadband internet,
Mm,
understanding how you can utilize it for the simple things of tracking your money, paying your bills, being able to get connected with family members that are far away, having access to telehealth, all the way to finding ways to participate in the digital economy. How do you take a business that you have and be able to use digital tools to maximize your profitability? And with the workforce development, how do we work with people that are either underemployed or unemployed, and helping them gain the critical skills to get them to work, and giving them the opportunity to earn a living wage, and to be able to live with decency and dignity, right? And then that post-secondary success, how are we connecting 2-year, 4-year institutions, certification programs with those employment opportunities? And really, it's a culmination of several things that I've gotten the chance to work on at a different level throughout the course of my career, and really getting to connect wonderful everyday people to resources that are going to change their lives. And this is again, the kind of work I've always, aimed to do. Just today, I've gone from strategy meetings to one-on-ones to site visits. So, a little bit of everything. Today is one of my intern's last days. And so, going to be headed to a year-end celebration, later with all the interns in the cohort. But just, getting to get all the special little pieces of the day-to-day work that I love and enjoy, and being able to build strategy with subject matter experts, with community members, with community leaders and organizations that just help inform the best version of the work that we get to do.
yeah. So you're getting to work with the public. You're getting to work with private organizations, public organizations everywhere. So you're just like you did when you were back here in Northeast Ohio. You're ingrained basically everywhere in the city.
Gotta be. It's You can't do this kind of work and be disconnected from community.
Yeah.
And getting the opportunity to, just a few weeks ago, we held a summit where we brought together all of our grantee partners and we said, hey, this is who we are. This is what we do. This is our strategy. This is how you're helping us do it. And what are some of the challenges that you've seen in trying to help us achieve these goals? What are the things that you're seeing on a day-to-day basis? And so creating those feedback loops, and building through trust-based philanthropy and understanding these are the problems that people are trying to solve, and this is what this looks like in action for them to try to do it every day. And being able to learn from them. And I think no matter, you know, no matter what happens, no matter where I end up, later on in 10, 15, 20 years down the road in my career, those are things that are always going to be essential to doing philanthropic work and being able to connect people to resources.
Aside when you took the position, how long have you been in the position you're in right now?
It's about 18 months.
18 months. So what was the you have a lot of great assets, but what was the one thing maybe you were like that you didn't realize? Oh, I need to work on this when you got in there. Aside from, I mean, probably the easy ones are getting connected in the network geography wise. But I'm sure you probably jumped ahead of that prior to doing that. But what are some things some obstacles you had to overcome, and kind of take us through like diagnosing those, and then also coming up with a strategy to execute on them.
I think achieving a different level of humility,
Hmm.
understanding the power structure of philanthropy and the power of listening. Always try to pride myself on doing more listening than talking. And I would like to think of myself as a subject matter expert when it comes to education, employment, workforce development, community development, those kinds of things. Different, different ecosystem, different community that I had been removed from for a few years. And honestly, I just had to come in and shut up. Just do a lot of listening. A lot of listening, a lot of learning, a lot of connecting with our partners, and it became less about me showing them what I knew and listening to them to understand their experience in a different way. And it could have been something so simple as one of my program managers kind of walking through, this is the entire great development cycle. This is how we go from a conversation that turns into an idea to a concept that we build that ends up feeding into our strategy to a community person who gets connected with us either through someone that they know in our network, or we attend a community event together and getting to learn about what they're doing, and how they're able to grow from that. And for me personally, I had to just tune my ear differently, mostly because I spent most of my time being on the problem solving side when it comes to programmatic development, but understanding what that looks like on the side of philanthropy is a little bit different, and figuring out how do you communicate it's through both directions. Communicate from the organization to a partner, and from a partner to the larger organization. So I think that was a skill that gave me a chance to have a better start and to get more deeply ingrained in the work that I'm doing now.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. I just can't imagine how, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, the end of the month, you must feel fulfilled knowing the impact in the people's lives that you are directly touching.
Uh, I would say it's a catch-22, where I feel fulfilled but unsatisfied because we are working to close gaps. And every day I'm constantly trying to work myself out of a job. I don't, I would love for the work that I have to do now to
Not to
not
be
exist.
needed. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And so knowing that, all right, cool, we accomplished this objective, or we're we're so ahead of this goal, we can go ahead and raise the bar. Like, hey, I think we can accomplish more this year in this area. And so being really happy and being really proud to see that progress. Then on the flip side, understanding that there's always more work to be done. And, I'm the kind of guy that I wake up at 1:30 in the morning, like, oh, this is an idea. This is something that we could do better. I keep a notebook next to my bed,
Yeah.
or my wife will tell the world how sometimes I just randomly get up in the middle of the night like, oh, I can't sleep. I've got this idea that I can't put down, and occasionally there are like poster boards that hang on the walls in our living space that are like, oh, I just had a midnight midnight thought. Let me build a strategy now. So it's both of those things. I think probably one of my favorite days since being in the role, getting to visit organization that I have a prior relationship with, and you are not supposed to have favorites in this work, right?
Okay.
But I've had some students over the years that I must admit, from where they started with where they ended up, was just something incredibly satisfying. And ran into a student who he came to us through open gyms. Just a kid who wanted to play basketball,
Yeah.
and had uh, some difficult experiences. Wasn't quite sure what was going to be next for him, but simply came into to play basketball to get away from any foolishness that was happening outside of the basketball court. And so spent some time working for me, doing some minor things, and then we had an opportunity to expose him to a program with coding and app development. And I said, "Hey, is this something that you would want to give a try?" He said, "I don't know anything about this, but I'll give it a shot." Needless to say, he goes on, and I mean, we're talking like LeBron James 2016 to 2018 type of run.
Yeah.
The best in the game, like arguably some of the greatest performances we've ever seen, right? And that ended up being this kid with coding and app development.
Right.
And I got to see him on site. And Steve, the moment I saw him, my eyes welled up because we had kind of lost touch, and I hadn't gotten the chance to talk to him for a while. But to not only see him, but to know, hey, I'm teaching other kids how to do this now. It
Wow.
just it it filled my soul with something that is really just hard to describe, and it's the things where everybody else doesn't know, but I know man, the late night phone call to make sure that they're gonna be there the next day. The making sure that they've got transportation to get to where they need to get to. The solving the problem over here, the making the introduction over here. You just start to think about all of the little things that went into making that happen, and it's like it was all worth it. None of it was a waste of time.
Yeah.
None of it. You lose the sad part is you lose a lot of people doing this work.
I can
Uh,
imagine. Yeah. I can imagine.
there are kids that we never get to close the gap with them. And I spend more time than I should probably thinking about where things went wrong and not always celebrating what went right. But every so often you get to see the manifestation of I don't believe in problem kids. You just have some kids that need more support than others. And sometimes you run into kids that just need all the supports, right? I was
Yeah.
one of those kids who needed all the supports. I was hell on wheels as a kid. And I was the prodigal son. My sister was respectful, kind, and well behaved. And I was, how can I break this? How can I get I was one of those kids. I was the kid where like the moment we got to the grocery store, it suddenly turned into a track meet and I was running away. I I was stressful for a lot of people, and I just was lucky that there was a love, time, energy, and attention that was poured into me that I was able to make something out of it. And this wasn't even a kid who took all of those things. It was just for the effort that did go into him becoming successful. It was just something that made me really happy. We gave each other the tightest hug. Where like a normal human being probably would have gotten a bruise or something for how excited we were to see each other. But it just that's the thing that I love, and I get invitations to weddings and graduations and baby
Mm.
showers because I'm at that point now where those are the things that are happening. But you just you just love to see it, and you love to start to see the impact that those kids have when they start mentoring other people. They start launching, they start doing programs, and it's like I don't care about any other kind of legacy. The only legacy that I want is that for people's lives that I was able to touch, that there was a noticeable difference, and then they were able to extend that beyond to someone else. And that makes all the tireless effort worth it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. What a great story. What a great story. I would love to pass my information along because I would love to have him on, just to hear his story. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, what do you for you? You're normally we talk about like the industry, where the industry is going. I kind of get the sense your industry, you wish it didn't need to exist, right? It kind of makes sense, like but there is a need in real life. There is a need for you, and thank God there's people like you that felt the need and the pull to fill that void and that gap and to help out. What's on the horizon for you or for for the organization? Where do you guys need to get better? What do you need to do to what's the next step for you in your career?
I think when it comes to this work, what about industry wide, right? I think that there, obviously in this time of change and where there's different opportunities to advance, agendas, political or otherwise. And something that I think is lost in times like these are the people. And when we talk about programming and budget cuts that may happen with the federal government, state governments, local governments, um, and things that really help people change their lives. Because that kind of work matters. And it doesn't matter where you are on the right, where you are on the left. There are people that you care about. There are people who you hope to see positive impact in their lives. And sometimes we argue so much about campaign points, or we call things different words, and we forget that these are actually people. These are not numbers on a spreadsheet that we're talking about. And what my hope is for our industry, specifically in philanthropy, is that people still trust our organizations, that trust our field to do work that really helps to move the needle for people. And to trust that, the people who have been doing this for decades and learning how to do things better here at Rocket, we have isms. And one of my favorite ism is obsessed with finding a better way. And I don't know if there's anything that captures the way that I think about philanthropy better. I'm always obsessed with finding a better way to do the philanthropy, a better way to develop programs, a better way to support organizations, a better way to support people. And my hope is that for the future of the industry, we're continually put in positions to be impactful and help communities. I hope that for one day, the only thing that separates a person from their reasonable goals is just a little bit of a push, a little bit of resource, a little bit of opportunity. You want to own a home one day, then we can make that happen. You want to be able to start a business, here are the things that you need to learn. Here's access to the resources. And if you prove yourself to be successful, you'll have access to more things. You want to go off and you want to get an education, here are the resources that we're able to put in place to make that happen. I believe that the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and property are all things that are still obtainable, and they should be attainable to every person under the umbrella of our country. And I want to be able to see that work continue. I want to see people who hope to dedicate themselves to helping other people make those changes achievable, but they still have access and opportunity to do that. So uh, this fall, I will be starting a PhD program at Case Western Reserve University. And one of the things that I will be looking into is how our work impacts communities and how we are able to preserve it and push that work forward. And so my hope is that I'm able to produce something that is helpful, that is impactful, that other professionals in my industry find insightful, and other academics, think is viable and rigorous. So that's kind of what
Wow,
is in the immediate vision from it.
that's amazing. That's amazing. When do you start that?
I start that in 30 days.
Uh oh, that's quick. It's gonna.
Technically, we started already because we already have our
Oh yeah,
summer read. They gave us our syllabus and the things that they expect for us to have done on day one. So I'm already rocking and rolling.
that's amazing. That's amazing. Good for you. Congratulations. How? What if somebody's wanting to get involved in as a career path, and kind of follow in your footsteps, what's some advice or some words of wisdom that you can impart on our audience of people wanting to follow, to get involved and to make this their career?
What's the thing you can't stop thinking about? What's the problem that's always on your mind? What's the thing that you always see? When you go out in the community, what's something where you're always like, man, I wish that was different. I wish that could change. And go find some organization that does that. Um, your your local library is always a good place to start because libraries are these great connectors of more than just books. They're places where resources tend to congregate because that's where people tend to congregate. And find some organization to volunteer with and volunteer with doing the actual work, but then ask questions like, well, how do you all do this? How do you make this happen? And you can follow a similar path and a similar journey as me. Hey, this program is really, really awesome. I think it's great. How do you pay for it? How did you connect these people? How do you make that a reality? Then that's when you can get into all the logistics and the technical things that make this wonderful work happen. And I'm going to steal a quote from one of my favorite TV shows, which is stolen from an actual person, Walt Whitman. Be curious, not judgmental. That curiosity, and the curiosity before you make a decision, before you make a determination, is what is gonna open you up for all kinds of opportunity to be able to make a difference in the world doing this kind of work. And so, be curious, ask questions, ask why, then ask why again. Just keep asking why, getting to the root. Don't go for the fruit on the branches. Get all the way down up under the dirt to find out how things really work out. They really move.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, the rule of three, right? You got to ask why three times before you actually get to the root, right? At least. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. What about people that might not want to make this a career? I think you might have some real good advice here. Might not be their career path, but they want to get involved. They want to help make a difference. You have any advice or guidance on that?
Set a goal for yourself. Find an organization or find a place that can use the skills that you have. Offer up your time, talent, and treasure. It's good to organizations will always take the check. I assure you,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, nonprofit organizations don't function for free,
Yeah,
especially for the ones where I guarantee you find your local nonprofit organization is doing work that you enjoy, and they have a resource gap somewhere, right? So that's first and foremost. Then go spend time. And whether it is getting involved with big brothers and big sisters or boys and girls club, go spend time with young people. If you are a professional at any age, go spend time with a person who is younger than you. If you are retired, great. If you're in the prime of your career, great. Find the time. Find whatever is going to work in your schedule, even if it's only one Saturday. Go and spend the time volunteering. I assure you, you will feel better after doing it. And then, if you have an area of expertise, if you're a counselor professional, if you're a legal professional, if you're in accounting, it doesn't really matter what your skill set is. There's an organization that you can unlock something for them by being able to lend some of your talent. And so, if this isn't what you want to do, with your life and for the rest of the life, but you feel like you have something to contribute, go find a local organization that can put it to use, and I assure you they won't waste it.
I love it. I love it. Love it, Marvin. Where can listeners and the viewers find out more information about the Rocket Community Fund and kind of what you're up to and follow along, or maybe find out how they can get more involved with your base, what you guys are doing?
Absolutely. You can visit our website, therocketcommunityfund.org. You can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm always posting about what we're up to, what we've done, what we're getting ready to do, all the fun types of things that people around us get to do every day. So those are great ways to follow along and find out what's next.
Excellent, excellent. Marvin, once again, love hearing your story. Always loving catching up. Thank you so much for being on today. I know without a doubt, people they're going to get a lot out of this one. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Steve.
Yep. All right, everybody. Subscribe, stick around for more content. Thanks again.